February 2015. I'm here with Liam Blake, who's preparing for an upcoming performance next month at the March TV show, which is all to do with the theme of Money Matters. So, Liam, you've researched performance material, haven't you? Yeah. But before you tell me what you've researched, I want you to, in your own words, identify your chosen art form.
Chosen art form, I think, is music. I know that's very vague, but for the time of me becoming a musician, I don't feel I've found my chosen art form yet. So maybe not necessarily like I'm on the right track. I think in a way I'm still looking to find like who I am. So it's hard to like determine what sort of music I do because the person I am would convey through my music. But the more specific genre that I've worked on are like rap, hip hop, I suppose R&B in some ways, grime, trap, drum and bass, dubstep. They're all like different genres that I've worked with. I once even did rap, heavy metal crossover.
Right.
I've recorded songs where I've not rapped at all and I've sung. So I suppose my main music, what was it?
Art form.
Art form would be hip hop rap, but musician in the sense of I don't know which direction it might go.
Yeah, it's a really, really good answer, a really mature answer as well going forward. Yeah, very astute. So, for the purposes of the qualification and what you're going to be performing next month, within your chosen art form, which will be hip hop or rap or grime, something within that world, what would you say your present level practical skill is? Where do you think your main areas, your strengths are? What would you say you're good at if you've got experience in?
I think all round I'm fairly good. Like I can create my own song from scratch and then present that song to an audience quite easily, like with a reasonable amount of time between them but I think my main thing that I find difficult is portraying myself. Does that make sense? Like I find it not to be original. Originality is not difficult. I can write my own song lyrics without taking ideas from other people or stealing ideas. But I think like there's a difference between being original and then that piece of original music having an identity. Do you know, like when you hear your favourite artist and you just know straight away from the voice, you know it's them. Like sometimes I feel like I don't always come across the same.
That's an incredible answer, and I'd have to disagree to some extent. I think when I hear you, I know it's you. You don't bother with an American accent or any of that stuff. I think you're still young, yeah. Give yourself a break, but that's a brilliant answer. But going forward, the fact that you got that in your head now is absolutely brilliant.
But the other aspects, I think there's definitely things I could work on in terms of like performing and maybe structuring my songs a bit different and making them more, not commercialised, but more socially acceptable.
It took me absolutely years, sorry to interrupt you, it took me absolutely years to get that in my head, that there's a difference between being commercial and being acceptable to the mainstream, presenting it in a way that they're used to, so that they only takes one listen for them to understand exactly what you're on about. Very, very astute, Liam. So you've also got skills in your actual your stage presence and your execution. You've got a lot of out of college experience in the real world of performing. And I think you've got a really good flow as well, not just your lyrics, but your very rhythmic astute. There's a lot of rappers out there who are really good at writing lyrics,
Yeah.
but haven't necessarily got that real musicality to the way that they deliver them.
Yeah.
And I think you've got that with a lot of triplets and stuff in the way you deliver your rhythms. And you also make your own beats as well, don't you? How do you feel? What level would you say you are with that side of things, with the more producer side?
I think it's more about time with me. Some days I could sit and make a beat quite quickly. It might not be the best beat in the world. So, like different times you get different products. Like I wouldn't sit and make a specific beat in mind. I'd start and then just see what came. Like the music kind of writes itself. So I wouldn't say my beat making skills are very high. Like I couldn't tell someone how to do it. It's more my own knowledge. Like just my ears, if that makes sense.
So have you ever been in a position where you can hear a melody or hear a certain, say, drum loop or bass line, and then you go to your software and put that down with it, like intentionally, or do you build it up from scratch kind of thing and experiment as you go along?
I usually start with the drums, because you have to have a general speed like in mind, and speed obviously matters because a lot of genres are based on the tempos and things like that. So I usually start with my drums and then maybe put my bass line in or put some piano chords in or...
So you start off with the rhythm and build it up.
Yeah.
Have you ever been in a position where you can hear like a vocal melody for your chorus in your head, or like a piano loop or a guitar riff or something, and then you go specifically and put that down and then build your track around that? Do you do it that way as well?
We do that quite a lot. There's a lot of times when we'll find an instrumental to write to, and then we'll kind of take, not necessarily the melodies and things like that, but we'll take like the structure and make it into like, to fit the lyrics more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, with you.
Yeah.
Rearranging and appropriation. Very good. Okay, just one last thing now. So, moving on to the performance material that you research. Just in relation to the chosen art form, in inverted commas, which is hip hop, grime / rap.
Yeah.
What are the 5 songs that you researched about money for the TV show, and how do they relate to your chosen art form?
The first one's called Million Bucks by Money Hustler Speaks. That relates because it's by rappers.
What sort of style would you say that is within the sort of rap music umbrella? So that's not really a term, is it? Rap music probably is. But in terms of trying to label it, would you say it's more grime, more hip hop, more pop?
I think there's definitely rap is like a genre, because like what we were saying before, tempo definitely matters. Because you'll get hip hop, which is usually 70 to 90 BPM, and then you've got rap that's like 90 to 120 BPM, and then anything above that's usually like dubstep, drum and bass, things like that. And then you've got the in-betweens like trance, which is trance rap. So it'd be rap or hip hop beats, usually already ones that have been made, that have been reproduced with like different ethereal sounds in them. But I think this tune's rap, it definitely relates to Money Matters because like I think it relates to it in a really good way because it's quite positive. It's about this rapper thinks I've got all this money. The song's about him being in a good mood and just wanting to give all his money away and like treat all his mates and like be able to take them out and do stuff.
Excellent. I'm glad you've chosen that one. A lot of people have chosen songs that are about money, but because 90% of songs about money are about having money, getting more money,
Yeah.
what are you going to buy with your money.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you chose that one. Nice MB. So what's your second one?
50 Cent, I Get Money. It's alright. That's I'd say that one more hip hop. But it's 50 Cent's not the best rapper in the world, in my opinion. But the song relates. The song's basically about how he's really good at what he does and how much money he's got and how he gets more and more money all the time.
Okay.
exception of Bruno Mars, who's a singer, it's primarily Travis McCloy's track with the rapping. He's got a lot of ad libs during the chorus to keep him like his voice in memory. I think that's like a lot of the reason why he does that. That's
What genre would you say that track is then? It's gonna be interesting to hear your response.
pop.
Yeah, I probably agree.
I think.
Just interesting what you said about the tempos. So isn't it sort of, I've never really thought about it like that. I always thought about it more about instrumentation, but you've given me a different perspective on it.
Yeah.
I've learned something there.
Yeah.
So I would tend to agree that's pop. But the genres are very subjective things. Usually only really exist so that people know where to look in the record shop. I know the industry's a bit different nowadays. Or maybe what to search for on iTunes and stuff, you know. As you know, one day you might be making a grind track, the next day you might be making a hip hop track or a rap track. Whereas really, it's all under the same umbrella, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next track, what's the fourth one?
Biggie Smalls, More Money, More Problems. That's hip hop again. I like the song. It's just essentially what it says on the tin. More money you get, the more issues it brings with it.
That's a great track. With a perspective on it again, probably quite different to what I've not heard that 50 Cent track that you spoke about, but
Yeah.
I imagine it's quite different.
Yeah, very different. Yeah.
So that's interesting. I mean, because a lot of people look up to celebrities and the fact they've got loads of money. So
Yeah.
that's a nice change in perspective. Maybe something to think about. I know you've already chosen your track for the TV show, but if you end up being in a band or you get recruited into a band that hasn't picked a song,
Yeah.
or are writing their own song and they're unsure what to write about, maybe you could suggest that sometimes more money does mean more problems. And
Yeah.
good. All right, and the last one.
Meek Mill, Dreams Worth More Than Money. That's Trap, which is hip hop or rap, trance, dub with it. Pretty good tune. It's set like it's essentially saying what it is on the tin. Just talking about how his career is worth more to him than the money it brings in.
Right. Good choice. Yeah, you seem to have your head screwed on.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the people out there that are just chasing money, they don't have any artistic integrity, you know.
Yeah.
And it's the ones that have that artistic integrity, that have the longevity within the industry, you know. Some of the singers that are really, really big now, you want to heard them in 5 years, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
it's good. I'm really liking the answers going forward. I mean, it's great for the college stuff as well to hit the criteria for the qualification, just as your development as a musician and a human being. Really, really positive stuff you're coming out with. So there's quite a lot of different styles there within your chosen art form, which could loosely be described as rap.
Yeah.
So that's really good. And how are you getting on with your chosen pieces?
Quite well. I think they're all prepared so far.
Yeah. You've sent off the chorus, the chorus lyrics to the singer, and you've given it a track.
Yeah.
So that's your song as your band leader.
Yeah.
Sorted, and then you demonstrated the rewritten Billionaire lyrics, didn't you, this afternoon? We'll record them tomorrow. So I think that's everything, unless you've got any final questions or comments or anything you need to say.
I think we've said everything.
Cool. Are you fairly happy with the band that you're putting together as well for your track?
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to come off, or do you think you're going to need to use the backing track?
We'll see.
We'll see. Good answer. But if you do end up needing the backing track, you could probably perform it next week.
Yeah.
If you really had to.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? When your singer's in tomorrow, so you'd be able to jam it with it. So you'll have something to perform by next week.
Yeah.
So then you can go all that whole month then to go forward.
Yeah.
And try and get something together with the band.
Sounds good.
Yeah. I'd really like to see you perform with the band. I'd be really curious to see that.